On this episode, we review the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review at Fort Wilderness Campground, as well as have a special guest to talk Sea World and Aquatica. Today is August 12th, 2022, and this is episode 486 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my rootin' tootin' wife, Rhonda.
Howdy, guys.
Oh goodness. Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to our Facebook group and search for Main Street Magic Community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you would like a free month of mouse dining, who will help you find those hard-to-book Disney dining reservations, head out to msmfriends.com, click on the mouse dining link, and use MSM FREE for the code when you check out, and the first 20 listeners get a free month of mouse dining. Then if you're getting ready to plan that next Disney or Universal vacation, looking to go on a cruise or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. And finally, we are gearing up, even though it is about 6 months out, for our second annual Main Street 16 Challenge Weekend, February 2nd to 5th. If you would like to learn more about our room blocks, if you want to go ahead and find out more about the challenge, sign up for the challenge. And any day now, we are very excited to release some information on the Friday ticketed event, which will be at Stargazer Lounge at Planet Hollywood over there in Disney Springs. We're super excited for that. And again, you can learn more about all of this by heading to mainstreet16.com.
So today we are going to talk the Hoop-Dee-Doo-Revue.
Please don't do this whole thing in a country accent.
Okay.
I won't make it through.
Yeah, so super excited.
It's back.
Yeah, we went to it this past weekend.
This came back June 23rd with their first showing. And Rhonda, why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about our normal bullet points, and we'll actually discuss, especially the discount one. We'll get into a little bit more detail because it's kind of interesting.
Okay. So it is a dining, and it is located at the campsites at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. Not to be confused with Wilderness Lodge.
No, not at all. There often is. I mean, we had that conversation last weekend that there's often a huge confusion where people will be like, yeah, we're staying at the cabins at Wilderness Lodge. And you're like, you mean Fort Wilderness? They're like, yeah, the Fort Wilderness Lodge. You're like, don't put them together. But there is confusion over that. Yeah. So yes, this is at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort, which I think they call campgrounds and cabins. So yeah, don't be confused and show up at Wilderness Lodge for this thing. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're going to Artist Point, then you go to Wilderness Lodge. So just a little note.
Yes. So this is a dining show. So this is a 2-hour dinner show.
Yeah.
And you do get discounts. It is only 10%, but it's pass holder. And you have to go to the window to get a refund, because if you book it online like we did, you have to pay everything up front. You go, we actually were staying there, so we did it the day before. But when you go and check in, you can totally do it.
Yeah.
Right then.
And we learned this in the past, the first time we actually did Hoop-Dee-Doo, because I think afterwards we were talking about it, and I was like, wait, there's a 10% discount? We didn't get it. Then we were going to do Spirit of Aloha, and we asked, and they were like, yeah, you're going to pay in full up front. And then when you get here, you have to go back and we will refund your money, which I have to look and see if that came back. It's like $11 on 2 tickets, but still, you might as well use it. Yeah. And I think I'm pretty sure even if you call in person to book it, you're still paying in full. And then you're having to go to that ticket window to get your refund. Right. If you're staying at Fort Wilderness, like Rhonda just said, I highly suggest you go the day before. Yeah. Maybe not too long before the first showing when the ticket window opens, because otherwise you might be waiting for people that are either trying to purchase there or have an issue. But you don't get any sort of physical ticket. You basically check in with them and your name's on a list. So,
and there are, of course, no dining plans right now. Dinner runs from 4 p.m. and 6:15 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. So there are only 3 times/3 shows.
Yeah. And book your 60 days. These will sell out often. We have before gone up 2 or 3 days before when we were staying at Fort Wilderness, and they did have tickets available. But this is one of those where you don't want to just go, we'll kind of fly by the seat of our pants, especially if you're not staying there. I mean, if you all of a sudden are at another resort and you head all the way over here thinking you're going to walk up and get a ticket and you can't, that'd be pretty disappointing.
Excuse me. This one was sold out.
Yeah.
We were told because of friends that we knew staying there tried to get tickets, could not. And with that being said, when I know I'm jumping ahead, but when we got in, it was not the third upstairs tier was not full.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is due to staffing and possibly just being back open, but I'm thinking still staffing and
for sure
COVID and all that.
Yeah. No, and that makes sense. And so when Rhonda's saying like upstairs, for example, so there's 3 categories that you can choose from.
Yep.
I'm going to say in general, I don't think there's a bad seat in the house. You're
I
going to be able to see the stage. You're going to be able to hear everything. Yep. They run through often. It might run by your table and stuff. We'll talk about that. So for category 1, which is going to be basically anywhere from up front, like think of this. All right, it's 2 stories, but the second story is like a balcony wraparound that looks down onto the first floor.
Right.
Anything that basically is opened up to the ceiling is category 1. Wrapped around underneath that balcony still on the first floor is category 2. Category 3 is your second level upstairs.
Right.
So 10 and older, category 1 is $74, and you're going to have your applicable taxes and stuff. For adults, $44 for kids, which of course would be under 10. Category 2 is $69 for adults, $40 for kids. So there's a huge difference here, and we'll tell you why. Category 3 is $66 and $39 for kids. Category 1, you have a very good opportunity of being a part of the show.
Yes. Very big.
This is, if you've listened to this podcast for a while, I don't like to be a part of the show.
No, you don't.
So we always book category 2. I actually tried to get category 1 this time, saying, let's just give it a shot.
Wow.
If one of us gets called on, we get called on.
I think we would have.
But it was sold out. I promise it was. I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
I had a ton of issues that morning.
Yeah.
Logged in under Rhonda's account, I could not secure tickets. It kept saying that her credit card failed, and it was not. I went into my Disney Experience account, and I got them right away.
Yeah.
So by the time I did that, though, category 1 was sold out. This is very much one where if they come up to make you participate in the show and you go, no, I'd rather not, they're not just going to turn around and kind of be like, okay, let's go to the next person.
Correct.
They're kind of like, we're going to do everything we can to get this person on stage, which further, I think, embarrasses and would make me very anxious. So I like category 2. Even category 3, they will go up on that second deck and interact with some of them.
Yes,
so there's still a possibility. We had an awesome seating though, like right there on the left.
Yep.
We had we were probably one of the closest category 2 tables there was.
Yes.
Right.
I would say so. We were right up front. We were the first table off the stage, but underneath the balcony.
Yeah. And I mean, so much that we live streamed the entire thing to Wonderland Crew, and the performers would come by and they saw that. Yes. And like a couple times they stuck their face like in front of our phone to like wave or say,
super
hey.
Cool.
So that
the
part
one
was
girl
awesome.
I really did and was like, hey y'all. And then at the very end, one said, and it might have been the same girl, but was like, see y'all real soon or something like that. So super fun.
That was cool. So we did get a little extra interaction, the fact that we had the tripod and stuff set up. All right, Rhonda, if you are not staying at Fort Wilderness, how the heck are you getting here?
Well, there's a few opportunities. One is you are going to get Disney transportation, depending if, like, for example, if you're at Magic Kingdom, this will be great because you can just catch the boat over.
Yeah.
Excuse me. If you are at Epcot, you just get a bus. If you're at any park, it's very easy. I like Magic because of the boat ride.
Yep.
But if you're staying at say Coronado, you could Uber, of course. You could drive if you have a car, or you could, unfortunately, go to a park and then go from there.
Yeah. Or Disney Springs.
Right.
Would be an opportunity. So yeah, you would
Just
literally have
leave
to
yourself
bus.
lots of time if you're not.
I would leave yourself like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even kidding, because the half hour, well, first of all, you're supposed to arrive 30 minutes prior to your reservation time.
To check in. And
to check
give them
in.
your
So
name
you've already got 30 minutes, right? They always say allow 90 minutes to get anywhere using Disney transportation. So you're looking at least 2 hours. If you're thinking, I'm at Coronado, I'm going to bus to Disney Springs, and then I'm going to bus to Fort Wilderness, then actually you should allot yourself 2.5 hours. Because once you arrive, you're going to be at the front of Fort Wilderness.
I was just going to say, and that's what I was going to say. If you're staying at Fort Wilderness, depending on where you're staying, if you do not have a golf cart, then you do have to take the internal bus system there at the park itself at Fort Wilderness. So
unless you're in a loop close enough to walk, you could always do that. You could still walk, but you would want to be in one of those surrounding loops, especially in August.
Yes. We luckily had a golf cart, so it was super fun to just ride on up there.
Yeah, and just park right there. So I would say if you are at a park, this is easy. But if you are at your resort and you're coming over here, I would Uber or Lyft. And again, just add that extra 30 minutes, not only to use the internal transportation to get down to Pioneer Hall, but then go ahead and also add the 30 minutes at least of prior to check-in. I would still, if you're going to Uber, I'd be calling that Uber 90 minutes prior to your showtime for sure, just to be super safe, because you do not, they're going to close those doors.
Yes, they are. But Disney's minivans are back.
Yes, that would be another wonderful option.
If you wanted to do something like that.
And that'd be a real fun one for the whole family. And this is a very, very family friendly, awesome show.
It really is.
We unfortunately were not able to take the girls this time.
Correct.
It's expensive.
Yes.
And they each had a friend with them.
Yep.
And we certainly weren't going to be able to take all four. This is one we would love to take them back in the future, because it is so much fun. And we'll give you just, kind of right off of Disney's site, is join the Pioneer Hall players for 2 hours of rousing dancing, singing, and zany comedy. Get ready to clap, move your feet, sing along, or just have a good time at Rustic Pioneer Hall and Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. Talk atmosphere in general. And, last episode and many other episodes, we've talked about Fort Wilderness. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like this whole common area that's down by Pioneer Hall, where there is the gift shop and there's a playground, and they'll have food trucks on, I think it's Tuesday and Wednesday night. You got Trails Inn, Crockett's Tavern, P&J Southern Takeout, golf cart parking, the boats, Clementine Beach with tetherball and all on it. We went down to watch the fireworks. Like, there's nothing like this.
The light parade.
And the music, it's all this like just kind of country, wilderness, woodsy banjo music. This is so worth coming to, even if you're not going to do Hoop-Dee-Doo-Revue. Use those same modes of transportation. This is a place that I would say you're at Magic Kingdom for the day. You need a break. And Crockett's Tavern, I think, opens maybe at 4. And, maybe you want to grab something to drink, or you just want to explore a little bit. Take the boat over. Because I'm telling you, there's just nothing like this atmosphere. And don't you agree it's the same in Pioneer Hall? Like, what's that feeling to you in Pioneer Hall?
Yeah, to me, it's super cool because it's just like a giant log cabin. And I love it. I love all the decorations. I love all the wood and the tree. Like, they're logs, super cool, though. We were walking in, and I believe his name was Kelly.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
We were talking to a cast member, and he actually told us that to reopen, he was sometimes falling asleep there, and they redid like the entire like inside and outside. And I think, this is 50 years old. Yeah. This is one of the first things that ever opened as well. So they just refreshed it, where I looked around, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't see a giant like difference. Like, wow, this looks amazing. It just looked amazing, and it just felt so just like your home in a log cabin. It's so cool.
It does. It really has that feel. down to, and we'll talk food here in a bit, but down to getting to your table and having the red and white checkerboard napkins folded in front of you.
And your plates are like,
everything served in skillets.
Yeah, and
like
plates are, what are those? Like not cast iron, but that like.
Yeah, it's
you know
like a
because the skillets are cast iron, but
yeah.
like silver and
I know exactly. I can't think of the word for it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like metal plates and all.
Yeah, super cool.
It's drinks and stuff come in like mason jars.
Yes.
Like it's one of those types of places. So, well, let's talk show first. How would you describe the show? I mean, do you think they're putting it perfect by saying it's rousing dancing, singing, and zany comedy? Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
It's in 3 parts.
You don't dance.
No, you don't. Yeah, it's in 3 parts because you will have parts where it'll be kind of like an intro, then they're going to break, they're going to serve you your food.
Right. I was just
going to
say they actually start at the very beginning,
Yeah.
kind of when you sit down.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody gets in and then they finally come out when everybody's like seated and then they, there's salad when you get to your table. There's already salad on your table and coleslaw.
Yes.
And cornbread.
Yes.
And the best cornbread around.
Yes, it is. Let's yeah. Again, it's really is the way to describe the show. It's fun. It's Disney entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It has kind of a storyline to it, but not specifically. There are portions where they bring people up on stage that's super funny. It's campy.
Yeah, but they come out and they kind of, while you're eating your salad and stuff, and they kind of do a few things, and then they actually tell you that the food's coming, and then they kind of go away for a little bit so you can eat. Well, then they kind of do quite a bit of show, and then they say basically almost kind of towards the end that you get your dessert.
Yeah.
And then they kind of do a little bit more, and then that's it. But it's throughout the whole thing, which is cool.
And again, this spans 2 hours basically.
Which I don't think I realized it is.
It's not
2
quite.
hours.
It's not quite that long because you actually. It's got to be more around an hour and a half because you have shows at 4, 6:15, and they're going to start getting the 6:15 people in. So it's just shy of 2 hours, but man, they put this thing back to back.
Yeah.
And they get you in very efficiently and they get you out very efficiently because they're pretty much turning around in minutes and seating the next guest.
Amazing.
Like you walk out of your showing and everybody's lined up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So let's start with the food. You sit down, you've got your coleslaw, you have your hoop salad. What did you think of these 2 items, which we didn't eat a ton of because you don't want to fill yourself up on salad and coleslaw.
But it was super good.
Yeah.
I took a bite of both. I like the coleslaw, but I really like the salad. I actually took in one more bite of salad.
It was a good,
it was
like vinaigrette, like house salad. Cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce.
Yep.
Sharp cheddar cheese on top.
Yep.
Croutons, I believe. I think it's actually cornbread croutons made from their cornbread. So just super refreshing. A good way to kind of just, again, you're going to have a bite or two and be done.
Yeah.
I'm very iffy on coleslaw because I don't like mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So usually I like a vinegar-based coleslaw. This was a mayo-based creamy coleslaw, but I enjoyed it. I like a sweet coleslaw when it comes to that. It has some sugar and all in it. So I thought this was good, but didn't eat too much. Then they're going to bring the main... First of all, let's go back first to beverage and why I think the cost difference is so huge between children and an adult, even though adults don't start at 18. What is included in addition to sodas, soft drinks, like I think sweet tea and water? What is also included for 21 and over guests?
Some beer and wine and all you can drink.
Yeah, sangria.
Yeah.
In mason jars because we did this last time, but
and they do have, I think, some beer that you can buy. Yeah. That is the, what do you call it? It's not
well, they have a whole line. I think domestic beers are included.
That's what it's called.
And then they have a bunch of craft and local beers that I believe are an extra cost.
Yeah.
We no longer drink beer or wine. So for us, it's at a little bit of a cost disadvantage. Certainly.
But it's a cost disadvantage for my parents when they don't drink at all, period.
It is. And,
I think they should have another one, honestly.
But here's the thing. I know I've said that, and I was thinking a little bit earlier. That doesn't make sense because would you expect, okay, I can understand you expect to sit down and go, I know the cost of beer and wine and sangria or whatever is included in this. I don't drink that. Therefore, I think my ticket should be less, right? It's been our thought process.
Yeah.
But I was thinking earlier, what if you sat down and said, I don't eat ribs. or mac and cheese. Would you expect for your ticket to cost less?
Oh.
You know what I mean? You can't do it on a person by person basis. So it makes complete sense they do it this way.
Okay. I get that.
You know, I do think that maybe this is one they could separate and say, you know what? 21 and over is this fixed cost with beer and wine included, whether you drink it or not. And then 20 and under is technically the kid's price. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I know why they do it, and it's fine that they do it. You can order additional cocktails, liquor bar stuff. They do have the Giddy Up cocktail, which is a blend of Tito's handmade vodka, Minute Maid premium lemonade, and freshly brewed iced tea. So it's an Arnold Palmer with Tito's.
Okay.
And so I did order one of those. It was $13.50.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in your mason jar. It's good. It's refreshing. If you can go a 2-hour show and not have a cocktail, just go ahead and go the 2-hour show and save your $13.50, I'd say. But you certainly could get other mixed drinks or whatever you want there if you want to have them.
Okay.
I would have gladly just said, you know what? It's included. I'm going to drink beer or I'm going to drink wine tonight, but I haven't had either in like a year and a half. And I just was like, I don't know what that will do to my system.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to risk it. We're going to have the same issue when we go on the cruise on the Wish, because I think it's much more affordable and you can bring on beer and wine. But I'm like, I'm not risking that. I would probably become, if I drank beer that weekend, I would become one of the flotation devices. I'm pretty sure. I think I would just be so bloated. All right, talk about our main course. We get 2 meats, we get some sides. How are these?
So fantastic. But it is all you care to enjoy. Fried chicken, barbecue pork ribs. So, and then you get cowboy beans, which are baked beans, macaroni and cheese, and mashed potatoes. And they were, so I ate the chicken, ribs. I loved them all. Chicken was fantastic. The skin, the fried chicken. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Ribs. I ate a couple of those because they were really, really good.
Yeah. And this is all you care to enjoy. So it is brought out family style in the skillets, as we mentioned.
Yep.
If you eat all of something and you want more, you can go ahead and get more.
And then the mac and cheese was to die for, where we actually asked for more of that. I took one bite of the baked beans. I didn't particularly like them. I've had better. And I just didn't want to waste my calories on that. So I totally chowed out on mac and cheese and then the mashed potatoes. We did not ask for more mashed potatoes because they actually, I was going to, and Jeremy's like, we still have some. And I'm like, oh, all right, fine. Then I'll eat those.
Yeah. Cornbread.
What did you think?
We'll talk about cornbread.
Well, that was at your table when you first sat down with your coleslaw.
I know, but you didn't really talk about it too much.
Well, it's
is it the best? Is it the best cornbread that you've had?
It is so good. I love it. Really.
Yeah, it's super
really
sweet,
good.
It comes in these loaves.
Yep.
And with a real creamy butter.
Mm-hmm.
It is. My
daughter loves it.
You know what's on the mac and cheese? That they bake it? The cornbread crumbles. So they crumble up their cornbread on top of the mac and cheese and bake it off in the skillet. I think this fried chicken is absolutely outstanding. If you have ever had, in fact, we got more fried chicken and we asked for white meat only. They're basically going to serve you like a whole chicken.
Yep.
So both white and dark meat.
And I had some dark meat. It was really good.
Really good. And I'm not usually a fan of dark meat.
Yep.
So you could request white meat only or dark meat only if that's what you eat. So the second time we requested breast only, actually. Mm-hmm. This is, to me, if you have had Publix fried chicken, the flavor, the tenderness and all is exactly on par. This has, to me, a little bit lighter of a breading. Yes. But it tastes very similar.
Yeah.
I think it's outstanding. I'm going to go to Homecoming and I'm going to spend the $32 on Art's fried chicken, and I know it's going to blow my mind.
Hopefully.
But I still think I'm so interested to see how it compares to a Publix fried chicken and to this Hoop-Dee-Doo fried chicken.
Okay.
First time we went to Hoop-Dee-Doo several years ago, I didn't love the ribs. I didn't really care for them.
Yeah, that's right.
I like them a lot better this time.
Yes.
I still think, in my opinion, they're slightly undercooked.
Okay.
Again, I'm a proponent of saying ribs should not fall off the bone. They should stay on the bone, and you should be able to bite them, and they're super tender, and you can see your teeth marks and where you bit them.
Okay.
These are almost just shy of that. So they're not 100% tender, but they're smoked over pecan wood. So they have a little bit of a sweetness to it. It's not like they lather them in barbecue sauce. They have a very light rub and brush, and you really can taste the meat. So I actually enjoyed them so much more this time. Agree with the baked beans. I thought
Did you eat any?
I did.
You took a bite?
I thought they were good.
Okay.
But to me, it was as though you took Bush's baked beans, which I do think are good, and you just poured them out in a skillet and you heated them up. We've got our neighbor next door, Jane, and we've got a friend right around the corner, Billy, and they both make ridiculous baked beans.
Yeah.
Like Billy cuts up he's one of those where he cuts up bacon and like sausage or hot dogs in them, and they're super. I also like the sauce to be like thick and sweet, and these were a lot more like runny, I guess, in a sense. Yeah. So I'm with Rhonda. I don't think they're bad. I thought they were actually pretty good. But when you're going to put them up against this mac and cheese and these mashed potatoes, don't waste your calories or your stomach space on the baked beans.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes, super duper creamy. Tons of buttery flavor in them.
So good.
Absolutely outstanding.
Want some now.
And this mac and cheese, I would put it up there with some of the other amazing mac and cheeses across property. I believe
it was like a creamy, like a light. It wasn't
small shells.
Yeah,
right?
But it was like a creamy, like a light cheese. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't
like
one
yellow.
of the ones.
It wasn't white.
Yeah, well, it wasn't one of the ones where you picked it up and there was string. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But
it was super good.
I think if you had never been to Art Smith's homecoming and you had never seen photos or anything, and you went to Art Smith's, and I think if they served you a plate of this fried chicken, this mac and cheese, and these mashed potatoes, you'd be like, wow, homecoming is really good. You would have no idea that it came from Hoop-Dee-Doo-Revue at Pioneer Hall at Fort Wilderness Campground and Cabins.
Okay.
So food, entrees, sides, unbelievable. And then you're like, how can they top this off?
Oh, so good.
And how do they top this off, Rhonda?
With a strawberry shortcake. And this strawberry shortcake, so again, you're thinking, now remember, this is, what do you call it? Oh my goodness. Family style.
Yeah.
So this is a very pretty large, round, like cake, almost like a little, like a miniature cake. And
4 or 5 inches across or so, like 2 inches deep, inch and a half, 2 inches deep. Yeah.
It is set on a, I guess, bed of strawberries and sauce. And then this giant whipped cream sprayed on top. That's a nice, thick, creamy whipped cream. And I think a little strawberry on top, like in the middle.
Yep.
And boy, Jeremy's not a sweet person. I am. This is so good. So refreshing. Y'all, I ate so much that my stomach, I'm so glad we had 4 o'clock. My stomach hurt so bad for a while. And I was like, I got to walk. Jeremy was wanting to take the golf cart. And I think Kaylin was like, I'm going to walk. And I was like, I'm walking with you. Like, I need to walk. So, but it was just so good that I wanted to keep eating it. Like the strawberry shortcake, Jeremy took like 2 or 3 bites, if that.
Yeah.
And then I just kept eating and
I ate so much chicken. Like I think I ate a chicken.
Oh my gosh.
Like I might have eaten an entire chicken. Your explanation of refreshing, I think, is perfect. And it's what's needed after this carb and calorie loaded meal.
But
it's something that feels light and refreshing.
Oh, because I'm like, strawberry shortcake is so like it's cake.
But that shortcake is not dense. It's super light, and it's so good. You are gonna get super full. I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite. We'll call it family dining meals, even without the experience. If all you did. To me, if they just served this exact thing at Trails End, now of course Trails End you have a full buffet with all this other stuff, that it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah.
I think I really prefer the family style. Now, love Boma more than anything.
Right.
But if they had gone to a family style deal because of COVID and that they come out that way, I would probably miss a few items, but I would probably enjoy it because you're not overwhelmed. Because when you go to something like the buffets, you want to try every little thing. You're either going to overeat or you're going to get one bite of each thing. And then you're like, well, man, I loved that fried chicken, but I also ate ribs and ham and sausage and you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think even if you went to this and sat down and there wasn't a show, this is well worth it because the food was just absolutely outstanding.
It really was.
I wish, and I hate so much that we never experienced Mickey's Backyard Barbecue, which used to be at Fort Wilderness. It was right behind here, Pioneer Hall. Reflections was going to be built. That's the other really aggravating thing is they pretty much took this thing down to put up Reflections. And Reflections, as far as we know, isn't even happening possibly anymore. And now we lost this because that would have been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Can't recommend this.
Oh my goodness.
Enough.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to go back.
I do too. And this is one like I would love to take the girls back, of course.
Yeah.
But I would also love to go with some friends, like get a group of friends. There's some big tables in the middle there in category 1.
That'd be fun.
And we saw some big groups.
Wonderland crew meetup.
That would we will look at doing that for sure. I will never forget. It was 1986. We went with our friends, the Smileys. That was their last name. And I know I've told this story. Jeff, the dad, it was his last trip. He passed away from cancer within the year and kind of knew this was going to be like a last trip in a sense, but he wasn't super sick at that time. And we went to Hoop-Dee-Doo-Revue. And
that's amazing.
So 86. So I was 7 years old. Sean, his son, I believe is maybe a year or so younger than me. So a little bit younger. And the funny girl, the one that plays that part that was making you laugh, the blonde, came out in the audience and, he is bald like my dad. Yeah. And she kissed him on the head with his lipstick and it left the lipstick. And Sean was furious about it. I think he is to this day because he actually resurfaced some video and stuff. And because he was like, how dare you do that? My mom is right next to him. And this woman comes up and kisses my dad on the head and leaves lipstick. We're all laughing. We think it's hilarious. And Sean, I think to this day is still like, that was wrong, lady. But I will never forget that. And then we had so much fun when we went.
Yes.
Talk about the washboards before we finish up this portion.
Oh, that's after dessert. That's your very, very end. And they give all these washboards to every single table and a spoon. And it says Hoop-Dee-Doo-Revue on it. And you do not get to keep these.
Oh, I so wish you did. We got a tiny washboard. It's like a replica. And it's got chalk area on top, the washboard on the bottom. And we had that back from Camper Rental Adventures. Yep. And I wish that they did that size at Hoop-Dee-Doo. And one was included per table. Yeah. Like when you go to a wedding and somebody gets to keep the centerpiece, right?
That'd be super cool. And we need to get Kaylin because she, I think, has better handwriting, but write Hoop-Dee-Doo-Revue in the chalk on that. Yeah. And then we can put it in here.
Yes, that would be fun.
Super cool. But they have it. And then they like sing and dance and you take the spoon and scratch it on the washboard. And holy moly, it's fun. But wow, it is loud.
Yeah.
So loud. And almost a little annoying.
Yeah. So this show opened in 1971.
Yes.
And up until they made minor changes coming out of being shut down due to the pandemic. Prior to that, all the way up to March of 2020, the show was 99.9% the exact same as the day it opened, which doesn't happen a lot. Do you know the one thing that they changed from
standing
opening
on the chairs?
Day? Yeah. Used to be they asked you to stand on your chair with the washboards, and then they were like, oh, well, that's just not going to be a good idea. No. We've been giving these people unlimited beer and wine. Now we told them to stand on a chair and clank a washboard. So they took that part out of the show, but everything else stayed the exact same up until March of 2020, which is pretty incredible.
That is.
So it's like one of the longest running theater shows or something, I think, in the country when it comes down to it.
Wow.
At least up until the point, of course, they shut down. I don't know if they count in the shutdown time, but can't recommend it enough. I am super sad because I would do it anytime soon. That Spirit of Aloha, met its fate. I know they're putting in the new DVC tower basically over there at Poly in its place, but it's gone now. We actually loved Spirit of Aloha.
Yeah.
But again, Hoop-Dee-Doo, look at it 60 days out, book it for your trip. Yes. It is well worth taking an evening off. Yep. We liked the 4:00 show because we still had our entire evening left when we were done. Oh my gosh.
And with all the food that I ate.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go to the 8:30 show and then you're heading back to your resort and going to bed, that might be a little rough on your tummy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up this portion of the podcast. But next, we have a special guest coming in to talk all about her trip to Sea World and Aquatica.
Woo! So our special guest is none other than our amazing oldest daughter, Kaylin.
Hello.
Welcome.
Who is now a
Thank you.
freshman in high school,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
which
I
still
am.
does not seem real.
How's your first few days been?
I mean, it's not bad.
Good.
Yeah.
Is it
good.
you're getting used to it a little bit?
Yeah. I
Is
think
it
the
different
first day
being
was...
in a
Yeah.
high school instead of you? I mean, you've only been at one school for 9 years, and now you're in high school.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
So what are we talking about here with our little special guest?
Well, we were talking about SeaWorld.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Very
You-
recently,
you
haven't
just
you?
went.
Yeah.
So we actually, real quick, when we were at the campground and did the camper rental, we had Kendall, one of her best friends, and her dad is actually a pilot and is all over. And he happened to be in Orlando, was going to pick Kendall up and then take her to Sea World and Aquatica. Well, he pulled me aside and was like, hey, do you mind? Y'all have done so much. Do you mind if we take Kaylin? So we put her on the spot, asked her, and she's like, sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
I was super
And-
jealous.
Yeah, we kind of were. So tell us about it.
It was really good, honestly. The roller coasters were really fun.
What did you ride?
Okay, so we rode... I'm pretty sure we rode all of the rides except for, like the baby ones and like the Sesame Street area.
Did you go
Okay.
through that area at all? The
No.
Sesame Street
We
area?
literally
Okay.
passed it, like went around it.
I feel like that would have intrigued you. Like I don't know.
What?
That just feels like that's something that because they're kind
Sesame
of like
Street?
because they're like I mean they're puppets and they're kind of creepy a little
kinda
bit and
scary,
you like
yeah.
stuff like that.
No,
So
but,
I
like,
thought,
But it's not scary, like, meant to be scary. Like
Right.
this one show, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Like, it's actually meant to be scary. That I like.
don't hug me, I'm scared.
It's a really good series.
Is it have
Wait,
puppets?
what
in it?
is this?
Yeah.
at
No, this is something
Zero-
completely different.
Oh,
This is a
Lord.
series
Oh,
on
this
YouTube.
is like on TV.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I should
Well,
show
that's-
you it. It's pretty good.
Let's get
Okay.
back to
Anyways,
SeaWorld.
Let's
back
get
on
to
track.
super
Back on
scary
track.
Oscar the Grouch. you did not go see. Unfortunately,
We did not go see him.
All right. So yeah. So what did you see? What did you ride?
So we rode. What did we ride?
Manta?
We rode
Okay.
Manta, Mako, Icebreaker, and what's the other roller coaster? Oh, the other roller coaster.
Okay.
It'll
Okay.
come to me later. And we also rode the 2 water rides there, which was one that was like Splash Mountain and another one called Infinity Falls.
Okay.
Was
That was like Callie's River Rapid.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Like like
Yes.
literally like a rapids, in
Uh-huh.
like a one same circular
But-
system, like boat.
Yes, but it was a really cool feature because so I guess I'll talk about Infinity Falls first.
Yes.
So the line was pretty long. Okay, one thing I want to say about SeaWorld is all of the queues are fairly short.
Okay.
So if you go and see like people waiting like outside the door, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a very long line.
Interesting.
Because the queues can just be very short.
But they still have
Okay.
posted wait times
Yeah,
like
but
anything else?
I don't think they were necessarily correct.
Okay.
Some of them kind of were. Some of them went by sooner than normal.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, a lot of the queues were very short and that I noticed. Also, something very interesting about a lot of the rides were, so you know when you get to like the area where they're like, how many in your party? And then they send you to a number.
Yeah.
They didn't have that at SeaWorld at all.
That's so weird to me.
You
Well,
just-
I mean, I think there were like 1 or 2 rides that had it, but
You
you,
just go
basically
sit in a
just
seat.
well, yeah, you just go get in a line for a spot.
How do they deal with like front row for stuff?
Front
Nothing?
row just has a longer line,
It's
I
just
guess.
a free for all.
Yeah, it
Okay.
literally is just a free for all.
Interesting.
Okay.
So
So-
yeah,
Infinity Falls. Fun.
Infinity Falls. It was fun. I did get pretty wet. Apparently also it has the Kendall said that on their site it has the largest drop, and by that I think it means free drop because there's like no sort of track on
Okay.
it.
Huh. Okay.
So I think it's like considered the farthest fall that's not like attached to anything, just a free fall drop.
So in this ride, because you're saying it's kind of like Splash Mountain.
No, this is the Cali River
Oh, this is the one like Cali River.
Yeah.
Rapids. So like, what is the theming? Obviously, when you have things like
I think
Icebreaker and Mako, and
I think the theming for this one was kind of like I saw a lot of kayaks.
Okay.
So
I mean, just river rapids in
Yeah,
general. It's
I think
basically
just-
themed to river rapids,
Yeah.
to water, to.
Mhm.
I mean, this is Sea World.
yeah, there are a lot of kayaks. That's
Oh.
kind of all I really noticed.
So what do you? Is there a slow portion and a fast portion? Is it like what do you? What's the? I'm trying to think of how to say it. Like, what's the reason you're going through this? Did you feel that with theming, and was there a story? Like the way that Cali River Rapids tells a story?
No, not
Okay.
really. Like at all. No. I think it was
Okay.
just kind of a like as if a couple of friends went water rafting.
Okay.
Like that was really it. I don't think a lot of those things had stories. None of the rides had like all of them had a theme kind of, but none of them had stories except for the Splash Mountain one.
Okay.
But then again, that one, I don't know if the story really was that.
Are there
Like you can really tell, I
are there
guess.
pre-shows?
There's one pre-show, and it was for a ride that no longer is up. They switched it. So there used to be a ride where you would go on this, I don't know what it was exactly, but it was this ride, and then when you got off the ride, you would go into the exhibit with the penguins.
Hmm.
But now they just show the pre-show, and then you walk through, and then you see the penguins.
Interesting.
So there's no more ride.
Okay.
But there is a pre-show for that. But yeah, and then what's it called? The Infinity Falls had a very interesting mechanic in the middle of it. We were going, and Kendall was like, there's an elevator for it. And I was like, I had kind of assumed that she was talking about when they pull you up, like or what's this called?
Yeah, at an
Vertically
angle.
yeah,
Going up
at an angle. And I was like, oh yeah, but then we pull up and they literally have this part where I'm pretty sure they turn you specifically on weight distributing, and you literally go up in an elevator, like straight up. And then
In your
you go.
ride vehicle?
Yes, in
oh
the
my
ride.
goodness.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay,
it
that's
was-
pretty cool.
They have a lot of cool.
And you're on water this
mechanics.
whole time? I mean, in a sense, obviously not in the elevator portion,
No,
but
yeah, like you go through a portion in water, you get a little wet, and then you go
no way.
up in an
Okay, that's pretty
elevator
cool.
in your
Yeah, that is
raft,
cool.
and it was pretty cool.
It does say it's a 40-foot drop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And yeah, and that it was a good ride. It was a solid ride. I don't think the wait time
Solid ride. It was a hard. Is it a
The-
hard ride? I learned that with a client the other day.
a hard ride.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Apparently, that is the new thing the kids say. Hard is like solid, like awesome, like
Oh my goodness.
No, I just say solid.
yep.
Was
Okay.
it bussin'?
Nope, that's what the
No.
11-year-olds say.
Oh, well, I mean, I pretty much got the mind of 11-year-old, so I
Anyways,
can still use it.
yeah,
Did
no,
it
the
slap?
wait. Anyways, it was very interesting because I think it like not broke down, but the line stopped moving twice.
Okay.
And it was very interesting because when we got in ours, we had about like 4 empty seats out of
wow.
this like big long line. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
And another thing to point out, they do not have any sort of what's it called? Like place for you to put items. Like you know how in the middle they
Yeah.
have this thing
Oh,
that
yeah,
goes
yeah.
there's nothing for
Are
that.
there lockers? Like
There are lockers, but you would have to get a locker, and the lockers cost money.
okay.
oh,
But there's different things you can do for the lockers. So you can get one where you can change the location. I think that's like $10 for the whole day. You can change the location
Now
every
that's
once
cool.
in a while. But and then there's another one where it's like one locker, and I think it's either $1 or $2.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
okay.
I wasn't.
because. What about like? What do you do with when you go to the Mako?
Yeah, let's talk
Manta,
about the roller
Kraken?
coasters.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what I hear, of
So-
course. And I'll just say real quick, I'll preface, Rhonda and I went to Sea World, it's probably been 14, 15 years. It was actually a
Yeah.
work function thing that we got to go during the day. We ate that night in the restaurant in the aquarium.
Mhm. Super fun.
It was awesome, but I don't remember
I know.
most any of it. It's just been so long.
Well, we
and-
watched the animal shows. Did you watch any of the shows?
I watched 2 of the shows.
Okay,
Yes.
what shows did you watch?
I watched the orca show and the dolphin show. We wanted to
Okay.
watch the sea lion show, but we did not make it.
Ooh,
Okay.
how were those?
They were really good. Apparently, they used to be a lot better with like acrobatics and the people
Yeah.
actually getting in the water. But with the dolphins, they do get in the water for a short period of time, but You know,
Not with
they
the
don't
orcas.
Not with the orcas.
Well,
no.
because there
Because
was a
someone
horrific
died.
accident where a
Yes.
trainer was killed,
Yeah.
and so they can't do that anymore.
I think Brian said that they actually have like so the workers and the orcas will have their hair tied up, and I think they have like a small oxygen thing tied to them. So if they get dragged under,
Oh my goodness.
Oh
they-
my goodness.
they have something to get or
Wow.
like use for
That's crazy.
oxygen. And that's also why their hair's tied up. Like everyone in the orca has their hair tied up so they don't get pulled in.
Wow.
But the orcas did go
Okay.
on this little place and they could like touch them and stuff. But
Okay.
yeah,
But
they
you
did not
you
get in the
enjoyed
water.
them?
Yeah, they were nice. They were cool.
Are they does it have that same feel like we just saw the animal show at Universal Studios, right? Or
Yeah.
does it have kind of that like I call it campy? Like is it kind of like silly and are they making jokes or is it pretty straight up or
So Brian said that it used to be a lot more like that, but now it's a lot more like informational.
Okay. That makes sense because
Yeah.
are they
it's-
telling you all the time to like save
Yeah.
animals and
Yeah.
environmental and all that type of stuff and
Mhm. Which makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
especially with all
Yeah.
the trouble SeaWorld has gotten into in the past.
Yeah.
And had entire documentaries that have exposed things. I know they've had to make a lot of changes.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk roller coasters
Oof,
because
the roller
again,
coasters
that's
were really
what
cool.
we've been told is the reason to go to SeaWorld is the
Oh,
roller
yes.
coasters.
The roller coasters were amazing. So an interesting thing, we got to ride all 4 roller coasters and we got to ride 3 of them twice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So in the whole day, we rode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We rode 5 rides, I believe, or 6, and 2 shows in the
Okay.
whole day, like 9 hours, I believe.
Okay,
okay.
So wait times were all very short.
awesome.
All right, first roller coaster. Which one?
Mako.
Icebreaker.
Mako.
Icebreaker. Let's start with Icebreaker because it's the newest.
Okay,
It opened not long
Icebreaker.
ago.
We were in line. It was a fairly short line, and we were kind of just not expecting too much. Like it didn't look that good. It looked, yeah. But then we got on it, and it was pretty good. It was a very surprising good, but it was also very rough. I think that's what made it good. But
Thought it was rough?
yes, it was
Okay.
rough in like a good way. You
Okay.
know, it was like I don't know, but basically what you do
Did
is
it-
you get on, it'll take you forward a little bit, and then the entire track moves, and you
Oh my
go
goodness.
you go backwards up, and then you go straight, and you almost go across the like hill, but you don't make it across the hill, and you go back and you go up even more, and then you go again and go over the hill, and then there's the ride. The ride's a bit short, but it's good, and again, it's rough. If the whole time I was thinking if I had a newly pierced like thing in my ear,
Oh, so it
it would've
shakes you
hurt.
around like rock and roller
Yeah.
coaster?
yeah,
Okay.
my
Okay.
ears were hit a lot. But
Did you ride this again? Did
no,
you like
this
it?
is the one that we
This is the only one you
were
didn't
not
do a
able.
second time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why was
Because
that?
you did
You
not
just
want
we
didn't
to.
want
didn't
to,
have
or-
the time.
Oh, you
Okay.
didn't have the time.
We
Okay.
ended up we did Mako like last, and it was like across the park. So even if we did have the time to do it, I don't even know. Like it was just it's far away from the other ones.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
But-
So let's move on to Mako.
Mako, that's the one. Yeah, okay, Mako. Mako, I was honestly a little anxious for. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was very, very fun.
Oh, okay.
So, Icebreaker didn't have this, but in Mako, Kraken, and Manta, they have these little baskets. So, like,
okay.
on the other side, they have baskets where you can put your items, like loose items, but they do have a sign saying SeaWorld is not
liable.
liable
for,
liable for any of these
But
items.
nothing like at Universal where you're having to dump everything in a locker
Mm-mm.
and you're
No.
forced to like go through security
No.
stuff. Okay.
They
So what'd you do with your phone?
put it in there?
And just hope that nobody stole your phone.
Nobody did.
Oh, okay.
Well, I also put my shoes in there because I was wearing flip-flops. So,
Okay.
like, I mean, we had our phones under a bunch of stuff, but
Would you recommend not wearing flip-flops to SeaWorld?
honestly, it was kind of nice because the water rides didn't get my shoes wet,
Okay.
and
I remember her
you could
telling me
just
this
throw
part.
your shoes in the basket. I mean, no one's gonna steal your shoes, I don't think. So
And
Oh,
worst
man.
case, you could buy new ones, right?
exactly. But I mean, yeah, I think wearing and I mean, I wore those flip flops 9 hours around the park, and my feet were fine.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
I did get you some good ones. She's
and it was
wearing
very cool.
some good Sanook ones.
It was nice. I had my bare feet are flying around in the roller coasters.
That's awesome.
But
I've seen the ride vehicle for Mako. It was at the IAPA
yeah.
Expo last year, and yeah, I mean it's just supposed to be one of the best because you sit 4 across, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Mako is very tall, and then you just do a bunch of hills. But it's very similar to Rock and Roller Coaster in that way where your feet will go up and then down and then up. It's very fun. And then sitting
inversions?
Huh?
You doing inversions? Going upside down or?
No.
Okay,
no,
not on Mako.
No,
okay.
upside down. But sitting in the back kind of gave me butterflies going down that first thing. It was really cool. But yeah, sitting in the back is definitely recommended. A lot of people think, oh, I want to sit in the front so I can get a good view. But honestly, the back is like very much more because of going down the thing.
Yeah.
It's very much better in like roller coaster ways.
Well, that's what we just found with Velocicoaster. I mean, we sat in the back row and it was completely different than anything else to the point that I didn't love it, actually. So I don't know if when we go to Sea World here in 2023 at some point, I'm sure, I don't know that I would select the back row.
I loved it.
You loved it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mako is like probably my number 1 or number 2.
Ooh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Kraken?
Yeah.
Kraken was good, but I think I almost blacked out. I'm just kidding. But like at one point what happens with me is there'll be a lot of pressure and then my eyes, it just feels like it'll get darker and like blurrier. And that did happen for a short period, like a very small couple seconds.
Literally you almost passed out?
It sounds like you should seek medical advice.
No, but it was cool. It was fun. Kraken was very intense. It was very upside down. Brian said it reminds him of flying when you like go upside down and stuff. And like he said he could almost feel like he could like steer or whatever.
Isn't he a commercial pilot? I don't think he should be flying upside down.
No, yeah, but I mean like
he flies for Southwest, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways. Kraken wasn't my favorite, but it was good. You know, it wasn't bad.
But what's the seating in that? Are you more in like a standard
I think it's 4
seat?
No, it's a 4 across.
All right. But you're sitting in a seat because I know we're going to talk about Manta, which is very, very different.
And Kraken also has the little baskets at the end.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is so weird.
Did you notice for any of these roller coasters barf bags available?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
But the second time we went on Kraken, we saw this guy across from us standing over a trash can. People were getting him water and stuff. And then later, while we were leaving, we saw him laying on the floor with a friend near him. So he got a little bit motion sick.
Motion sick or intoxicated?
Yeah.
Or both?
I just started to say.
Maybe both.
Which it could be either. I mean, 100. I'm not. Motion sickness 100%.
He looked pretty old. Like, not old, but like he looked like he was in his 20s or 30s. Like,
wait. Did you just say he looked pretty old?
No, I mean old to be on a ride where you get motion sick and then have to stand by a trash
can. That doesn't matter by age. Motion sickness can happen to anybody.
Yeah,
at any
you're
age.
right. But I just feel like it's very interesting because once you get older, like you realize you have motion sickness.
True.
So
like
that
me.
does make me realize maybe he was intoxicated.
Okay, that could be, especially if he's in his 20s or something. And I will
That's
never.
true.
I remember.
I think they were also
Wasn't
having
there a beer.
Yeah, I was just about to say there's a beer festival.
There's like a beer festival going on.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're still, and somebody can chime in on social media if they're still doing the free beers, because you remember when we went, they had the free beer tasting, and it was the time when Anheuser-Busch was making those little flavor packets that also included alcohol in them, and you could squirt them into your beer for different flavors, and they had them there. And you're allowed 2 free samples per person if you only go to 1 register. So your mom and I hit up all the registers.
My God.
And so I don't know if that's still happening or anything,
I
but
don't know.
maybe that was the situation with this guy. So
Probably.
okay, so all right, so we talked. That covers all the roller coasters, correct?
No, we didn't.
What do we still have left?
Mako.
We still have Mako.
Oh, Mako, yes.
But did you
Mako?
finish talking about Kraken?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Mako, probably my number 1 or number 2. They stand next to each other. Mako was Manta. Manta was very, very cool.
Yeah, that's what we meant to say is Manta, not Mako.
It was the first one that we did. And you sit down and they lift you up. So you're on your stomach and you go.
You sit in the seat yourself.
Yes.
And then the
they
mechanics
lift you up.
of it.
Mm-hmm. But that does make it take a good while to actually like
Like your Superman?
yes.
Wow.
I do want to also mention, I noticed that there were only about 1 or 2 carts, about 2 actual carts every roller coaster. And I think the Icebreaker literally only had 1.
Okay.
So, no, Icebreaker had 2. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I just made a mental note of that there were only about 2 carts every run around.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. But also the Manta has a full, I think it was a 180 spin, not spin, but like
a corkscrew?
No, so it went fully in a circle, like a full circle. And Brian said you can only do that when you're laying on your stomach, because if you're sitting upright, it pushes. So something about like too much pressure will make you pass out. And I think I don't know what the measurement he said was.
So cool that you were with Brian.
He knows
a
lot.
Yeah,
he's gonna know about pressure and
G
G-forces and things like that.
It was the G-force.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He said 4 G-forces is the normal amount a person can take, and if you do a full loop sitting up, that's about 4 or 5. So people will pass out, and you can't do that. But because you were on your stomach, you can do that without exceeding 4.
That's cool.
So you don't pass out.
Yeah.
Wow. So him and Kendall said that the first part of the loop is fun, but then once you realize it's kind of like, oh my god. But I thought the whole loop was awesome. I liked the entire loop. And then there's parts where you go by water. It's just very fun. I liked that one a lot.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So did you what kind of snacks and stuff did you have that day? Because you didn't eat like a full meal, correct?
No, what we got that day was pretzel bites. Not pretzel bites. It was the nuggets, the cinnamon and sugar nuggets, pretzels. They were good. Okay. We also got 2 refillable cups. I think they're about $17, and then to refill them was 99 cents.
Interesting.
And then we also got a popcorn bucket.
Okay.
And we used all 3 of those the next day at Aquatica.
Awesome.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. All right.
So
that kind of rounded out your day at Sea World.
Well, we also did that one Splash Mountain like ride. Mom, can you see what it's called while I talk about it?
Yeah.
So that one, Kendall kept saying that she thought you would like it. It has a bit of a story. It's kind of like undersea, like I didn't really get the story of it, but it was a water ride, half roller coaster, half water ride.
Like you said.
Yeah, and so it starts off in like this like Italian looking city, and then you kind of go underwater, and then there's this like evil lady looking thing with like glowy eyes, and then you go
Journey
up.
to Atlantis?
Yes, Journey to Atlantis. That's what it is.
Okay.
And then you go up, and then you have this big like down like Splash Mountain where you splash into the water, and then you go on a little bit more of water, but then I think you go out of the water and do a whole like little roller coaster where you're
super cool
out of the water, and you do some like spins and drops, and not spins, but like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very much like Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Splash Mountain, I feel like you stay. I mean, except for those like dark parts, like there are some open parts where you're you're in the roller coaster part for a good amount of time.
Nice.
But yeah.
So that then wrapped up your day.
Yes.
You guys stayed at the Drury Inn near there, correct?
Yes.
Pretty close. Was it pretty close to the park?
I'd say so. Yeah. I mean,
not too far.
Yeah. Not more than a 15-minute drive.
And it was nice.
Of course, Orlando has traffic. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. So then what did you do the next day? I know you already mentioned it.
We got up and went to Aquatica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
Well, you made it sound like I did something else. I was like, I don't think I did
that's what I was
anything
going
else.
for.
Okay. Anyways, so we got there around 9:30. We wanted to get there at 9, but honestly kind of good we got up there a bit late because we found out it didn't open until 10. We thought it opened at 9. Did not open until 10, but that could have also been because it turned into a Monday, which was a weekday instead of a weekend.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, we went in, we got a ticket for me. Brian got both tickets for free because of the pass.
Of his pass holder and everything. Yeah.
I know they've got some awesome perks.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm. And then we put our stuff down, we immediately got in line, and I think we did about 6 rides, total of 2 hours, because we ended up getting rained out.
Do you remember what rides you did? Did you do? Let me ask you. Let me ask you this.
Yeah, you might want to ask me.
Did you do the ride with the tube and it goes through
the aquarium?
No.
Aquarium.
No, we did not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but we did see the dolphins that were like supposed to be in the like tank. Because I think it's not like an aquarium with fish. I think it's like a aquarium with 2 dolphins.
Oh, okay.
But they're like small, tiny dolphins.
Oh.
Okay. Did you do the family raft ride, which was Ray Rush?
Yes, I think we did. Yeah, we did. We did the Riptide race. We did all 3 of those. So we did Riptide race. The race one was very short line. You could practically just get on it. And because
fun?
it was really fun. There were 8 people, or like 8 people could go at once, and you just like, when they'll go 3 racers ready, 3, 2, 1, go, and then you just go down. And
Who won?
Brian.
Well, he's tall and bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, not
awesome.
tall, but bigger.
And then Kendall got second. I think I was very late, but
Aw. And then this care curl.
yes, care curl.
I don't know
It was
if I'm
like
saying that right.
it was one of those things. Oh wait, I don't know if we did do that. Oh, I forgot. Oh my goodness, this isn't good. We did one of them that went up and down. I don't think we did that one. We wanted to do that one, but we did not get to it. Okay, we did not do that one. The Ray Rush, I believe we did. That was good.
Okay.
What's the overall feel and theming of this park compared to a Volcano Bay, a Typhoon Lagoon, stuff like that? Does it feel like it has a theme, or does it just feel like a water park?
It kind of just feels. It kind of just feels like a Sea World water park with a bunch of fish and stuff.
Did you do the lazy river? That's called Loggerhead Lane.
Yes,
and you
saw the dolphin and stuff. Yeah,
that's where, because there is also another little.
Yeah, the images have a bunch of fish, but all we really saw were dolphins. Like there were like about 2 or 3 dolphins in one tank. So
awesome. But then, so you got rained out, and you guys were going to wait for the rain to stop, right, for a little bit?
We thought we had a patch that we would be able to get another 2 hours in, but I guess the rain was just too close, and we did not get that patch.
Yeah.
So we just left.
Okay. So what overall are your feelings, thoughts on Sea World, Aquatica compared to, Universal and Volcano Bay, Disney and their water parks, their park? Like, so where would you rank this, put it?
SeaWorld is awesome. The lines are super short, and they have some good roller coasters. But it's one of those things where there's not much to do almost, so I wouldn't want to go too often,
Interesting. Okay.
So you guys go to Disney so often. You could not do that with SeaWorld. Because
you wouldn't go once or twice a month?
No. We did about literally every ride in one day.
Yeah.
So
would you like to go back? Like, would you like to go back?
I'd go back.
Go with us, and we could get some tickets or something.
When, though, is it like one where you're like, you know what? If I don't go back for 6 months, I'm cool. Or are you like, man, that'd be fun to do next month? Like, how do you feel about
I think it'd be either or.
Okay.
Like, if we went next month, I'd be like, okay, cool. I'd do the rides and stuff. But then if we were also like, we're not going to go for another half year, I'd be like, okay.
You'd be okay with that as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, Kaylin, thank you for coming on and sharing.
Yeah.
Of course.
We're so happy you got to experience that. This Fort Wilderness trip that we've talked about here, these past 2 episodes, was kind of our last hurrah for summer.
Yep.
But then it was cool. You even got a last hurrah. And yeah, we're so thankful for Brian for taking you along and on that little journey. And we missed you while you were gone, but we're super glad you got to go. Yep. And thank you so much for coming on to talk all about it.
Of course.
So, with that being said, we're going to wrap up this episode. If you want to hear more from us every Tuesday and Friday, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you would like to check out tonight, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party on the opening night, our stay at Coronado Springs this weekend. We've got an awesome Labor Day weekend coming up at the Swan as well. We've got Disney Wish. We've got DizCon. We've got a lot coming up. You can always check out our Patreon group at wonderlandcrew.com. As long as you're out there on the internet, you go over to iTunes or wherever you listen, and you could also just go ahead and, leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.